Good afternoon, YouTube, and welcome back once again to Phatkat Collections. Today I got some amazing LED smart lights from a company that goes by the name of Pautix. It's Pautix, and they are an Amazon seller. And they sent me these lights, and I gotta tell you, I absolutely love these. Now I did install, I'll throw a couple pictures up here, but I did install a set of their lights. They sent me 3 different versions we're going to talk about today, but I did install one already, so I'm not going to be able to do the unboxing. I'll show you the box, but I'll show you a couple pictures of what I did with it. And they are just the white version of these lights. So what makes these different than your standard LED lights? So let me first start by saying, now that I've discovered these, it almost makes me want to replace any LED strip lights that I have. Keep in mind, there's nothing wrong with the older style. And when I say the older style, what you get a lot of times with these LED strip lights or tape lights is you would have a red, a green, and a blue LED. That was kind of the original design, the original style. And so in order for you to get different colors, these 3 LEDs would overlap light. Some of them actually had separate bulbs. So what you would have is, if you had them placed somewhere that was kind of too close to, like, let's say a white floor, like my kitchen kind of has like a, almost like a granite style flooring. It's very light, it's a light gray and white. You can actually see the reflection of the bulb. So you kind of had like this layering effect of light, but you could still see the individual colors kind of being reflected back. So that was kind of the original version. Then they made changes where they actually put each RGB, I guess, diode in kind of a single, I guess, a single section. So rather than having 3 separate red, green, blues, they combine the 3 red, green, blue LEDs into like one small, pinky nail size light, where getting those 3 colors closer together kind of diffuse the light together more than actually having them being separate, where you'd see the individual colors, right? And that's basically what they've done. Now the modern ones are even better. And so what they've done on these is, these are absolutely incredible. They probably have been around for a while now, but what you have is almost like this frosted, like almost feels like a hot glue. It's not. It's some kind of like a frosted rubber almost. You can see it's almost like a built-in diffuser. Now, I don't know where exactly the lights are on these, but I'm going to plug them in and show you. The brightness of these are incredible. So they were nice at the semi. This is their 16.4 foot or 5 meter UL listed 24 volt color flowing LED strip, right? We're going to get into this. And then these are the ones I already installed in my grandfather clock downstairs. I wanted something to kind of reflect all the different mechanics of the clock. So I added these, and this is basically just a solid white, right? Just plain old white. This is called chip on board LED, is what I was trying to say. But it's 2700 to 6500 Kelvin temperature. And then the other one they sent me is this one here. And this is just a standard, what I would consider warm Kelvin temperature. So 2700 is more of the warmer style light. And so if you're not looking to, be able to change the light, and be honest with you, most people, I think if you're going to add lights to your house somewhere, most people kind of like, I shouldn't say most people, at least for me, I really prefer the warm. If I'm going with white, I prefer the warm look. Generally cool white, I prefer that like in more of an industrial or like a garage type setting. Very rarely do I put cool LED, and usually the Kelvin temperature is starting to get closer to like the 4,500 to 5,000 in that range. It just starts to get lighter. Now if you are putting these in somewhere where you want the ability to, I guess, have more of that sterile look, right? That operating kind of room look, then maybe you'd go with the adjustable version. But basically, the main difference is just the fact that you can get either the warm white, you can get the adjustable white light, and then with this one here, you get the best of everything. Now, I didn't really try to dial this in yet to see if you can actually dial this in to get a warm white. What I've noticed with a lot of RGB strips in the past, that they're great for the different colors, but when you try to dial them in to get that nice warm LED glow, they just don't, they're not able to perform well. So a lot of times some of these companies will make a light like this that has the RGB, I'm going to say chips, I'm probably using the wrong terminology. They have the RGB abilities, but then they also have they kind of combine like 2 different styles of LEDs. So without further ado, I'm just going to show you what you get here. You get a really big power supply. This is the only downside I'd say to this. I mean, I guess they kind of have to be big. This is a 24 volt power supply. And it looks like it puts out 72 watts, what they have listed on here. So rather large, and these are going to, you know, you compare it to a 60-watt bulb, it's really not much, but I like to try to be a little more economical, right? And we all are spending money on power and stuff like that. So, but let me just plug them in. They're awesome. They really are. Oh, before I do that, you also get a built-in controller. So this is kind of nice if you're going to mount these somewhere. I get annoyed with having to, if you're going to get something like this where you want to be able to make the change, sometimes it's annoying to have to pull out the phone, right, and use the app. So with this, they actually give you the ability to do it on the controller, and you're limited. You just have mode. I don't know what the S is, and you have power, right? And then you have a infrared remote control. I think this is infrared. Might actually, yeah, it looks like infrared. And so this gives you all your different settings on here, right? Your red, greens, blues. So I'll just kind of, without further ado here, I'll just kind of plug it in and show you guys what it looks like. I'm not going to go through every single feature of this, but it's actually blinding. I don't know if you can really understand how bright this is, but let me turn it off for a second here. So I'm not going to take it off the whole reel, but I'm just going to show you a couple of different colors and a couple of the modes they have here. So they have rainbow, meteor, stars, and fire. So I'm going to walk you through this. So it's probably isn't going to show up too well on camera, but this is got super bright, rich color. I'm going to try to dim it down a little because it is really bright, and maybe you'll be able to see the color a little more. So what's cool is you can dim this down pretty far. Some of the other LEDs that I've reviewed in the past, whether it be a bulb or a strip light or whatever it is, you can only dim it down so far, and sometimes you just want just a little subtle light glow. Like for instance, if you were watching a movie, you don't want to have a lot of, at least for me, I'd like it to just be like a glow that lets you know there's light there, but not something that's actually going to illuminate anything. So with this, you can get this down. I think this is about as far as we can go. But that's pretty dim. Let me just turn it up a little bit so you can see it. All right, so this one here is, I'm going to go to rainbow. Pretty cool, right? And then I'm going to go to the meteor. And then stars. It's a pretty cool one. I think fire is my favorite. I mean, it's just so bright and fiery. And then, of course, you have the ability to like set timers on this, cycle through the modes. I showed you that you can dim this down. Just standard blue. And it's a really bright blue. And what's cool about these is that you have a lot of LEDs in here. And again, they're chip on board. I don't know exactly how that works. But when you look at this, you don't see individual LEDs. You see just like this continuous line. You can see a little bit. If you saw it in person, and maybe you can see by the camera here, you can sort of see a little bit of individual LEDs, but for the most part, you have a continuous strip of light. They almost kind of remind me of like the way Indiglo looks. Just really deep, rich color. Let me go into the white color here. So white, you can see, is like, hopefully you can see, it's a very cool, I'd say getting close to 5000K color temperature. You can adjust the lighting, but let me see what orange looks like. All right, that's more like yellow. So this would probably be the closest you can get to, like a warm white LED. But I know it's kind of hard to really see this on camera. Right now, this shot makes this look like just a very warm white light, but I would say it's more yellow than anything else. And when we go into like, this is like a kind of orangey red. I don't think you can really get that nice warm color if you're looking to go that route. So let me just turn it off for a second. I'm just going to show you what the white one looks like, just to kind of show you, and hopefully this comes across on camera, but I'm kind of thinking it's not going to come across too well on camera here. But let me plug this into the controller. So now the controller, each one of these is a little bit different. Same power supply it looks like, but for instance, the just plain old warm white 2700 Kelvin temperature version just has a brightness button up and down and power. So if you're just looking for something that's more simple, this might be a good option for you. It's still super bright. Let's see how low we can get this. So it definitely gets it down to a pretty dim glow, and it is super bright. So where would you use these? So that's basically, we're just gonna unplug this here. So, oh, and you also get the remote control. This is a very simple one. You have basically timer settings. Let me show you that first. You have 10 minute, 60 minute, 30 minute, and 60 seconds. I don't know why anybody would want a 60-second timer. That doesn't make any sense. And then brightness, you can adjust these individually up and down. Fade, and then 25, 50, and 100%. So very basic, inexpensive remote. And these are, I believe, all of these have the ability to be controlled via Wi-Fi. You'd have to double check that. I will put the link in description on these. I know for sure this one here, which I'll just show you what the clock looks like in a couple seconds here, but this one here is definitely connected to Wi-Fi. And Bluetooth. So I assume the rest of these can do the same as well. But fantastic lights. I mean, I'm really quite impressed with these. And I've had quite a bit of LED strip lights in the house over the years. To be honest with you, I'm kind of at the point now where I'm not really sure where to put these. What I might do is get you can get diffuser tracks on Amazon, and they're basically a track that has a kind of a frosted panel. And sometimes, as nice as these are, when you look at like a regular LED strip, they just look like, if you were to mount that kind of on the ceiling, it's going to look like, what are you putting this in a shop, right? It doesn't have a nice finished look. You can get on Amazon the tracks, which are like kind of a aluminum with that kind of frosted panel over the top. And those, to me, I think give you more of a finished look. I don't know. These lights, I may end up putting up some crown molding. We'll see. I may actually just take a set of these and put them kind of like in my bedroom along the back of my dresser and across the top of the molding on the floor, where the glow would be visible, but you can actually see the light be kind of glowing from behind the furniture and all that stuff. So, sky's the limit on this stuff. They're fantastic, though. And what I found is with something like this, let's just say you have kitchen cabinets and you want to put these in the kitchen underneath the cabinet, or if you want to put them, like on the upper cabinets, like to illuminate the countertop. With some of the ones I have, they just give you kind of a cool glow. So when you turn off the lights and all that, it gives you a little bit of illumination, but it's not like functional. If you're going to cook a dinner, you have to turn on the other lights. Whereas these give you a lot of light. So if you have cabinets that don't actually touch the ceiling, a great option is to put them up above there, so it kind of illuminates up onto the ceiling. My parents have something like that with some old school rope lights. Very cool. But these, I mean, I don't want to insult your intelligence. Wherever you can put a strip light, you can put these. Let me just log back in here. And so when they say UL listed, I think, let me just see what that, I was hoping that some of these would be weather resistant, but I don't think any of these have any kind of weather resistance. So let's start off with the RGB version of these. So they say that they have breathtaking RGB effects with built-in IC chips, which is chip on board. It says it displays multiple colors simultaneously, reinventing your festivity, blah, 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 they're going to say on that. Brighter and uniform. So unlike traditional RGB LEDs, you don't have like those kind of dark and hot spots, is what I was trying to articulate earlier here. Not doing a good job today on this. They're flexible, they're 12 millimeters wide, and they have 3 electrical lines for flexibility. I'm not really sure what the extra lines are for on this here. I'll show you what I'm talking about here. So on the RGB, which is the ones we're talking about now, they have sort of like this. You have the red, white, and yellow that's tapped into the existing LED, but they have a red and white. So I'm not really sure if that's, I have no idea in that. Maybe that might be if you want to add like a second set to these, you can do that with the existing controller. That's where I'm kind of thinking about these. Yeah, pretty cool. As far as the other color effects on these, it doesn't seem like they have, when I was kind of cycling through these, you guys know when I do a kind of a product unboxing, it's more of like a commercial. A lot of times I don't really get the opportunity to test these because a lot of times the companies they're kind of gung-ho to get the video out there and just kind of share the product. So it doesn't give me a lot of time to really, like these, I'm not even going to be able to install them because I just don't have anywhere to put them right now. So I like to come back at a later date. When I do figure out where I'm going to put these lights, I will come back and let you guys know what I think about them. But initially, my initial unboxing and testing, my thoughts are awesome. These are like, I have a couple LED strip lights that I really should replace. But here's my point, with these LED RGB versions, you got to put them somewhere where you're going to be able to really utilize. Like I could put these up my stairs, but when I put it into music mode, you know, what am I'm not really hanging out on the stairs, you know. So just kind of think about where you want to put these and where you can really utilize them, where they're going to be fully appreciated. It says that it's 18 kinds of music effects. We're not going to go into all that today, but they do have, I believe the RGB has as well. I know the adjustable Kelvin temperature white versions actually has a built-in microphone. It's something that's pretty cool, because what I find annoying is if you're going to put some of these lights on, I have other, you know, other strip lights, other brands. Some of them use the phone's built-in microphone. So if the app crashes or if you close the app, sometimes when you just move into another app, let's say you're going to play like YouTube music somewhere in your house on a Bluetooth speaker, your stereo, but you want the lights to kind of be reactive. Some of the devices you actually have to use the phone's microphone, and they don't always work all that well, right? Because they're trying to, you know, get the signal from the phone microphone and then relay that through the Wi-Fi network and have the lights flashing and whatnot. So this is kind of cool that it actually has a microphone built in, and you can choose between using the phone's microphone or the phone's, I guess, onboard music player. I think that's how it works with, or you can use the onboard mic. So that's great, because no matter where you put these, they'll be able to react to whatever you're playing. So that's kind of cool. It says here it has 142 built-in dynamic effects and many static colors. I didn't get 142 dynamic effects, but but I only, from what I can tell, it has 4 different effects. So maybe by cycling through those, you're going to get more. And maybe when I was cycling through the mode button originally, maybe, you know, not having them actually mounted somewhere, it's hard to kind of see them on the roll. You know, maybe it does more. So again, 5 timers can be set. And so price on these here, there's a couple different versions. You can get the 6.5 foot version for $28. The Smart Kit, which I believe is what this is, for a 10-foot version for $35, and this one here is actually $50 for 16 feet. They have a 32-foot version as well for $78. I kind of wish I would have requested that one. That gives you a lot more. You can always cut these down, but anyway, pretty awesome. Now, as far as the specifications on the, which one's this one here? Let's see. On the adjustable Kelvin temperature, that one does specifically say it works with Amazon. We're not going to say her name, and the Google Smart Assistant. That was the one that I have my clock downstairs and tested with that. It does work. And you can get it in the, they have a, let's see here. It's kind of confusing the way they list it. So you have IP65 outdoor versions on this with weather resistance. 24 feet, 16 feet. The one they sent me is a, it says it supports voice activation. See, I'm confused as hell. They have a lot of different options. This is what kind of, I'm not really sure, to be honest with you. But let me just read to you what it says here. So it says here, again, chip on board, 180-degree beam angle, voice control compatible with the assistants. It looks like also their app is called BandLAN X. It looks like that one, it says you can use, I'm not sure if you can use their app. I thought I saw a microphone in there. So maybe you can use their app as well. Like, let's say you don't have the assistant, you can use their app to voice control them, but then you'd have to open the app anyway. So to me, that's kind of dumb. It says here that the RF remote is 360-degree multi-directional. And so basically what's nice about those is that if you're sitting on the couch, you can just press the button. You don't have to reach and point if you want to turn it off, but you can use your phone as well since it's Wi-Fi. And again, you get the controller, you get the power supply, and the strip lights. And they say they provide lifetime support, but that's only, you know, that's only meaningful if they're always in business, right? But you can dim them down from white light to warm white to cool white, 2700 Kelvin to 6500. I'll say that I wish these could dim down a little more, but if you use the remote to dim them down, they only get to a certain point. If you use the app, so I encourage you, if you do get these, you're like, oh, I don't need to install the app. I would still install the app on your phone because the app allows you to really dim them down a lot further. So if you just want kind of a nice little warm glow, like I don't want the clock to be illuminated like it's in the middle of a showroom, right? I just want a little glow in there. So anyway, and then let's see here, other version here, and this one is the non-adjustable version. And this one here has 4,800 LEDs, warm white, and it's a 2,700 Kelvin temperature. It says CR193 plus super bright high lumen, dimmable, flexible tape, etc., etc. And very similar to the other ones, it just doesn't give you the ability to change the Kelvin temperature. If you don't want the warm version, you can get these in a 3000K, a 4000K, and a 6000K. So price on them, 42 bucks for 32 feet, 24 bucks for the one that I got, the 16.4 feet. So again, you'll have to kind of think it might be worth it to spend the extra money and get the adjustable Kelvin temperature. If I was actually, I know for a fact if I was buying these and they weren't comped, I'd probably buy the adjustable version. But depending on where you're going to put them, what I would recommend to you, again, I haven't really put these to the full test, but what I would recommend to you is if, let's say you have a spot you want to add these where, like for instance, if you have, you have a kitchen, right, and you have your cabinets kind of coming close to the ceiling, it might be wise to put like an RGB version and the adjustable Kelvin temperature version, because then you have the best of both worlds. If you want to kind of have that fun, cool, kind of festive glow going, you could have that with the RGBs. The only thing I wish they would have done with the RGB is have the ability to get the exact Kelvin temperature of white lights. Something that LifeX bulbs do very well. When you get one of their extra screw-in bulbs, you can have exactly the white light you want and all the 16 million different colors. Although you'll have a lot of connection issues with LifeX, so that's kind of the downside. But anyway, let me know if you guys have any questions whatsoever. Let me just kind of show you guys the different boxes one more time here. Again, this one is the chip on board LED standard 2700 Kelvin temperature. Then of course we have the adjustable Kelvin temperature 2700 to 6500, and then again my favorite, the RGB. These are very fun. But remember, a lot of times, I want you guys to keep this in mind too. A lot of times when you think about the RGB, you're like, oh man, I gotta have that. I love that color. But how often are you going to use it? And that's kind of the thing to kind of think about when spending the extra money. If you're going to add these to your kitchen, and I think I really like indirect lighting. I think it looks really cool. Like if you have crown molding that's kind of maybe half an inch from the ceiling, you can have lights stuck behind there. I love these LEDs. I mean, the bar lights, wherever you want to put them, you can find a spot for them. But I think that a lot of times I find myself even having the RGB version. Sometimes I'm like, hey, I just want this to have a nice kind of warm, comfortable light rather than the loud flashing colors. Like how often do you use that unless you're going to entertain? Our homes for the most part aren't really dance clubs, so just kind of keep that in mind. So anyway, if I can help in any way, let me know. Drop me a comment, drop me an email. Do subscribe to the channel. And as always, have a fantastic day and take care.